A grand mansion, a Hollywood legend, and an FBI investigation that took a dark turn. What seemed like an ordinary case quickly spiraled into something far more sinister. When agents stepped into Gene Hackman's mansion, they had no idea they were about to uncover a terrifying secret, one that had been buried for years. The discovery that lay behind the mansion's walls would send chills down the spine of even the most seasoned investigators. But what was so unsettling about this case, and why did it rattle the entire force? What was hidden behind that door in Gene Hackman's mansion? The answers will make your blood run cold, and they'll leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. A shocking tragedy has rocked Hollywood. Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found dead in their $3.3 million Santa Fe mansion. But what unfolded in the aftermath of their deaths is more chilling than anyone could have imagined. The scene was bizarre. Pills scattered across the floor, doors wide open for no apparent reason, and even a mysterious mummy tucked away in a dark corner. Initially ruled a tragic accident, the investigation soon spiraled into something far darker. The FBI was quickly called in after uncovering unsettling signs that couldn't be ignored. Was this just a heartbreaking accident? Or was there something much more sinister lurking beneath the surface? Hackman and Arakawa had always been a private couple, living in seclusion within their luxurious home, surrounded by the serene beauty of Santa Fe. But their reclusive lifestyle is now under intense scrutiny. In the weeks leading up to their deaths, they vanished from the public eye, with no word from friends or family. What happened behind those closed doors? Why is this case shrouded in such eerie mystery? The secrets of Hackman's mansion are unfolding, and the truth behind them may horrify us all. For nearly 2 weeks, no one had seen or heard from Gene Hackman or his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Their absence passed without question, partly because they lived in a gated community where privacy was paramount. Neighbors rarely interacted, and even maintenance workers admitted they seldom saw the Hackmans. But then, an unexpected event changed everything. One day, a maintenance worker noticed a door wide open, an unusual occurrence in such an isolated community. Sensing something was wrong, he entered the house, not expecting to find the gruesome scene before him. The bodies of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were discovered, along with one of their dogs. No one knew exactly when they had died, but the lack of contact for so long left both investigators and the public stunned. Did their isolation contribute to the delay in discovering the tragedy? Would their fate have been different had they been found sooner? While privacy and avoiding the media spotlight are not uncommon for celebrities, the secluded lifestyle of Gene Hackman and his wife has now become a suspicious part of the story. Their absence went unnoticed until it was too late, and now questions swirl in the minds of those following the case. The lavish hilltop mansion, once a symbol of peace and security, now evokes an indescribable haunting. Isolation can sometimes be a veil hiding unexpected tragedies. The FBI and investigators are delving deeper into the mysterious details surrounding their deaths. Scattered pills, unexplained doors, and suspicious signs at the scene make this case more puzzling than ever. What really happened behind the closed doors of this luxurious mansion? As the investigation continues, one thing is certain: this case holds more chilling secrets than anyone could have imagined. The eerie silence in the final days of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, continues to haunt not only the community, but also the investigators desperately trying to uncover what happened. At first, it seemed like a tragic accident, but the strange details that emerged inside their quiet Santa Fe mansion quickly turned it into an unfathomable mystery. Every corner of the house seemed to harbor creepy clues, forcing the FBI and forensic experts to race against time to piece together the chilling events that led to their deaths. It all began when a maintenance worker performing a routine check noticed a door slightly ajar. When he entered, he had no idea he was about to stumble upon something horrifying. Gene Hackman, Betsy Arakawa, and one of their dogs were all found dead. But what baffled everyone was the strange way they were discovered. Hackman lay in a room, a cane and sunglasses nearby, seemingly ordinary items that now appeared as strange clues. Had he collapsed suddenly, or was there something more sinister at play? Meanwhile, Betsy Arakawa was found in the bathroom, next to a cold, unused fireplace, with an open bottle of wine and pills scattered across the floor. The scene was as mysterious as it was unsettling. The presence of the pills raised more questions than answers. Was this just a tragic accident, or was something darker at work? Things became even more terrifying when investigators found a dead dog locked in the closet, while the couple's other pets roamed freely throughout the house. Why was this dog confined in such a way? Did it witness something horrific before being locked away? The questions mounted, but no clear answers appeared. The mansion, once a serene symbol of peace and luxury, now exudes an unsettling atmosphere. Open doors lead to empty, eerily silent rooms, and there are no signs of a struggle or forced entry. Everything is too perfect, too clean, like someone had scrubbed away the evidence before anyone could see. As the maintenance worker called the police with the chilling question, "Are they still breathing?" the investigation team quickly realized this was no simple death. Secrets buried within the mansion's walls were darker than anyone had imagined. The FBI is now digging deeper, following every thread: the scattered pills, the open doors, the cold, lifeless rooms. Is this a tragic accident, or an elaborate plot slowly unraveling? Has someone orchestrated this death to turn it into a story too complex to understand? As the investigation continues, one thing becomes clear. Every new discovery pulls the case further into the realm of the mysterious and macabre. If you enjoyed this video, drop a 1 in the comments, and if not, let me know with a 0. I appreciate your feedback. Beneath the quiet facade of the Santa Fe mansion, a chilling mystery was slowly emerging. The absence of conventional signs of trouble only deepened the sense of unease, leaving countless unanswered questions. The first responders were stunned to find the bodies of actor Gene Hackman, his wife Betsy, and one of their dogs. But what made the scene so strange was the complete lack of any signs of violence. No struggle, no broken glass, no forced entry. Nothing. It was as though time had frozen right there in that room. Investigators tirelessly combed through every inch of the mansion, hoping to uncover any clue that might explain this bizarre tragedy. The bodies showed signs of early mummification, an ominous detail suggesting they had been dead for days without anyone noticing. On the floor, an open pill bottle and scattered pills hinted at a medical emergency, but there was no evidence of suicide or deliberate poisoning. Even after thorough inspections by the fire department and gas company, no trace of toxic gases like carbon monoxide could be found, a common cause for mysterious deaths. The front door stood wide open, but inside there was no sign of disturbance. No strange footprints, no overturned furniture, just eerie silence. The pristine appearance of the scene raised even more questions. A tragedy without a trace, with the truth seemingly buried beneath the calm surface. As investigators and onlookers continued to ask what really happened, the case took on an even more sinister air. Was it an unexpected accident? A perfectly concealed conspiracy? Or a mystery that defied all logic? With the final pieces of the puzzle still missing, the case only grew more chilling, forcing those involved to dig deeper into the layers of mystery surrounding this deadly event. Silence, perhaps the most alarming detail at the scene, was the open pill box with pills scattered across the bathroom counter near Gene Hackman's wife, Betsy Arakawa. This image immediately raised questions. Had the pills played a crucial role in their mysterious deaths? Was it a tragic accident, or did the pills hide a darker truth? The careless manner in which the pills were left seemed to suggest a moment of haste or panic right before the tragedy struck. Had Betsy accidentally overdosed, or were the pills simply forgotten in a frantic moment? Those who knew Betsy remembered her as a gentle, sweet woman, finding it hard to believe that a simple mistake with pills could lead to such a quiet end, especially since there was no sign of a struggle or violent confrontation. This left investigators to focus on every minute detail, carefully examining each pill to see if it matched the prescribed medication or contained something potentially harmful. These scattered pills could be the key to unlocking the hidden mysteries surrounding their deaths. But a larger question was beginning to take shape. Why didn't anyone notice sooner? For nearly 2 weeks, no one had seen or contacted the couple. Despite living in a gated community, their sudden disappearance raised serious questions. How could someone slip away from their lives without anyone noticing? It wasn't until a maintenance worker arrived to check on the mansion and found the front door wide open that the truth began to unfold. The moment he stepped inside, he was met with a chilling scene. The bodies of Jean, Betsy, and their beloved dog lying in eerie silence. Neighbors had always described the couple as friendly, but no one had been suspicious when they vanished for days. Were there signs that went unnoticed? Unanswered calls or messages? Why didn't anyone check on them sooner? The lingering silence surrounding the case only deepened the mystery, leaving investigators wondering how many clues had been missed in those 2 weeks. Was what happened inside that quiet mansion truly an accident, or was something darker hidden behind its doors? As the questions continue to pile up, everyone following the case is left to ponder the unsettling truth behind this haunting tragedy. Tragedy struck, but as investigators examined the crime scene at the Santa Fe mansion, a series of forensic anomalies only deepened the mystery. There were no signs of forced entry, broken windows, or any visible signs of violence, which ruled out an attack from outside. However, the manner in which the famous actor and his wife were found raised unsettling questions. Gene Hackman was discovered in a cluttered room near his cane and a pair of sunglasses, while Betsy was found in the bathroom next to a space heater with an open pill bottle and pills scattered across the floor. These small but unusual details prompted forensic experts to spend hours meticulously analyzing the scene. Environmental tests found no traces of toxic gases or carbon monoxide, ruling out poisoning. Some experts leaned toward the possibility of an accident or an underlying health issue, while others believed more crucial clues had been overlooked. The FBI's involvement signified the seriousness of the case, with investigators determined to uncover every hidden detail. Initially, investigators expected to find a clear cause, perhaps a gas leak or signs of a violent act, but the facts didn't align with any of these assumptions. The open bottle, scattered pills, and the cane near the actor raised more questions than answers. These discoveries forced experts to reevaluate the case, wondering if something darker lurked beneath the surface. Local police and the FBI are now working together to explore different angles, moving beyond initial theories. Neighbors describe the couple as friendly but reserved, and now their isolation is becoming an even more puzzling factor in the case. With conventional explanations no longer applicable, every piece of evidence is under intense scrutiny. Each new clue could be the key to unlocking the truth in this increasingly mysterious case. What once seemed like a closed chapter has now opened up a series of unsettling questions, leaving the public in shock. Is this just a coincidence? Or are there still secrets waiting to be revealed? Only time will tell. The investigation into the deaths of actor Gene Hackman and his wife, pianist Betsy Arakawa, took a bizarre turn with the revelation that authorities had misidentified a deceased dog. According to Joey Padilla, the owner of Santa Fe Tails pet care facility, the couple's German Shepherd, Bear, survived alongside another dog, Nikita, but their Kelpie mix, Zinna, tragically passed away. Padilla shared a poignant statement about Zinna, describing the dog's deep bond with Betsy, saying, "Zinna went from being a returned shelter dog to this incredible companion under Betsy's hand." The relationship between Betsy and Zinna had been particularly special, with the dog always by her side, making her loss even more heartbreaking. Authorities have been working to uncover the full story behind the deaths of Hackman and Arakawa, whose partially mummified bodies were found on February 26th in their Santa Fe home. Sheriff Adan Mendoza stated that they may have died as much as 2 weeks earlier. However, a new detail added an unexpected twist. The deceased dog was initially misidentified. Santa Fe County Sheriff's spokesperson, Denise Avila, explained that the deputies involved in the investigation do not handle canines regularly, leading to the mistake. It doesn't stop there. The FBI has now released shocking new evidence, revealing that Gene Hackman's decision to retire early in 2006 wasn't just a random career move. It was driven by something far more sinister. According to newly uncovered details from Hackman's personal journal, there are cryptic entries pointing to illicit dealings with a shadowy organization. These aren't your average notes. They're codes, symbols, and strange markings that suggest a deep connection to an underground drug cartel. Towards the end of the journal, there are even more disturbing signs, references to secret transactions, shadowy figures, and cryptic messages that could have been an encrypted warning of the impending danger. Some experts are now claiming that Hackman had been secretly involved in major drug trafficking operations, and that his sudden retirement was a cover-up to escape increasing threats from these powerful figures. But what makes this even more unsettling is the discovery that his wife, Betsy Arakawa, may have been more involved in this dark world than anyone realized. In the final pages of the journal, Hackman writes about an impending threat, a danger that both he and Betsy had been facing for months. Was their tragic death truly the result of an accidental overdose, or were they victims of a well-planned assassination carried out by the cartel, fearing that Hackman and his wife were planning to expose their operations? Some even speculate that the strange scene at the mansion, where no signs of struggle were found, just scattered pills and an eerie silence, was orchestrated to look like an unfortunate accident. The more the investigation unfolds, the more the lines between truth and fabrication blur, leaving investigators and the public questioning whether Hackman's death was part of a larger, more dangerous conspiracy. As the case deepens, the chilling possibilities are too wild to ignore, and each new detail only adds to the ever-growing mystery surrounding his and Betsy's untimely demise. Could this have all been connected to their involvement in something far more deadly? The answers remain elusive, but the rumors are growing louder. On the evening of Saturday, February 8th, an unsettling scene unfolded outside Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's mansion, one that resembled something straight out of a thriller film. According to a neighbor, a fleet of black cars was parked in front of the house, their tinted windows reflecting the dim streetlights. The sight alone felt ominous, as if a secret meeting was taking place under the cover of darkness. Inside, the atmosphere grew even more eerie. The neighbor could hear loud crashing sounds, as though furniture was being violently thrown around, followed by the frantic barking of a dog, echoing through the quiet neighborhood. The sound was so intense, it almost seemed like a struggle was taking place, an argument escalating, a violent altercation, or perhaps even an attempt to break into the house. Then, as suddenly as it began, everything went silent. The crashes stopped. The barking ceased. A heavy stillness enveloped the mansion. For a moment, the neighbor wondered if something had happened to the dogs, or whether the sounds were just a result of something more mundane, but the tension in the air lingered long after the noises stopped. As the black cars began to drive off into the night, one by one, the neighbor felt an odd sense of dread wash over them. Was this the calm before the storm? Or was it the aftermath of something more sinister? Something designed to appear like a quiet, ordinary night, when in reality, it was anything but? What if, in the silence that followed, a far darker truth had been hidden, carefully orchestrated to cover up the crime? Perhaps the black cars weren't just random vehicles, but part of a secretive organization, like a drug cartel or even an underground crime ring, coming to collect what they were owed. And those noises, the destruction, the barking, were just the final moments of a deadly transaction gone wrong. It could all be a setup, a stage crafted to conceal the real motives behind the deaths of Hackman and Arakawa. In the midst of the silence, just when the last black car had disappeared, the neighbor looked up and saw Gene Hackman standing in the doorway, staring into the empty street. He was still and rigid, almost as if he were waiting for something, or someone, to return. His eyes scanned the road, and for a brief moment, he looked as though he had just witnessed something horrifying, something that had left him frozen in place. Then, without a word, he stepped back inside, vanishing from sight. It was as if he had been standing there, waiting for the right moment to make his move, or perhaps even waiting for the silence to settle before he could take action. The timing was unsettling. Why had he only appeared once the black cars had left? What was he waiting for, and what had truly taken place inside the mansion just moments before? Could the neighbor have unknowingly witnessed the final act in a gruesome story, one with even more chilling twists yet to be uncovered? The truth was slipping through the cracks, and every detail, no matter how small, seemed to point to something far more sinister hidden behind the mansion's walls. Since that night, it was the last time the neighbor ever saw Gene Hackman. 3 weeks later, when the police finally descended upon the mansion, the neighbor was stunned to realize that Gene had been dead all along. It wasn't until the authorities arrived that the grim truth hit him. Gene Hackman was gone. In interviews with the neighbor, the police began to piece together a timeline, suggesting that Gene may have died unexpectedly, perhaps from a heart attack brought on by the overwhelming fear of what had happened that night. According to their theory, the intense anxiety from whatever transpired in those final hours had triggered the fatal episode. Betsy, unable to cope with the shock and grief of losing her husband, may have taken her own life shortly after. The pills scattered around the house were seen as an indicator of her desperate, tragic decision. But there was one detail that didn't sit right with the investigators: the dead dog locked in the closet. This bizarre discovery raised a new suspicion. Why would the couple's dog, Zinna, be locked away? And why did she die in such an unusual place? Could this be a sign of something more sinister? The more the police looked into it, the more it seemed like the deaths of Gene and Betsy weren't a simple case of tragic heart failure and suicide. Some experts and investigators started to suspect foul play, hypothesizing that the couple may have been murdered by a hitman sent by the shadowy organization Hackman had apparently gotten involved with. The locked dog, the strange sounds the neighbor had heard, and the mysterious black cars all pointed towards something much darker than a domestic tragedy. Was it really a natural death? Or had Hackman and Arakawa been executed by a ruthless assassin to silence them for good? The case continued to spiral into more uncertainty, and as the police uncovered more unsettling details, the question remained: who was behind this chilling plot, and what were they trying to cover up? We truly appreciate you for sticking around and watching our video. Leave a 2 in the comments to let me know you are still here with us. As the investigation into Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's deaths deepens, the shadow of Hackman's legendary career in Hollywood looms over the case. Hackman, known for his towering presence and magnetic performances, left behind a legacy that continues to captivate audiences worldwide. His career spanned decades, cementing him as one of the most respected and versatile actors in film history. In his breakout role as the infamous Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde, 1967, Hackman quickly proved his ability to embody complex, morally ambiguous characters. His portrayal of the troubled, volatile criminal opposite Faye Dunaway established him as a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood. It was this role that earned him his first Academy Award nomination and set the stage for a career that would see him nominated for 5 Academy Awards in total. But it wasn't just crime dramas that Hackman excelled in. His roles in films like The French Connection, 1971, and The Conversation, 1974, showcased his range as an actor. In The French Connection, Hackman's portrayal of Detective Popeye Doyle, a tough, gritty cop determined to bring down a heroin ring, earned him an Oscar for Best Actor. The film remains a quintessential example of the gritty realism of 1970s cinema. However, Hackman was just as brilliant in his softer roles. In The Royal Tenenbaums 2001, he played Royal Tenenbaum, a father trying to make amends with his estranged children. His performance was a masterclass in subtlety and depth, and the film, directed by Wes Anderson, became an instant cult classic. Hackman's ability to bring humanity to characters, no matter how flawed or out of place they seemed, was unparalleled. As his career progressed, Hackman transitioned to roles that explored a variety of genres, from the action-packed Superman, 1978, where he portrayed the villainous Lex Luthor, to the heartwarming Runaway Jury, 2003, showcasing his ability to adapt to any role, from menacing to charming. Yet, despite his immense success and reputation, Hackman had always remained elusive, shying away from the spotlight and choosing to live a life away from the public eye, much like his characters who often thrived in the shadows. His unexpected retirement in 2006 only deepened the mystery surrounding his life, leaving many to wonder what had led to such a dramatic decision. As the investigation into Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's mysterious deaths continues to unfold, new developments are slowly unraveling the complex web of their final days. Authorities have been following leads, piecing together fragments of evidence, and trying to understand the connections between Hackman's shadowy past and the chilling circumstances of his death. With every passing day, the case takes on more layers, revealing more questions than answers. The initial assumption that Gene's sudden retirement and Betsy's tragic death were a result of personal struggles is now being called into question. Investigators have begun to focus on the possibility that their deaths weren't simply accidents, but rather the result of a calculated assassination carried out by professionals. The presence of the black cars outside their mansion on that fateful evening, followed by the strange sounds and sudden silence, has led authorities to revisit the idea of a hitman being involved. Someone possibly sent by the dangerous organization Hackman had been unknowingly linked to in his later years. But as the FBI digs deeper, they find an even more disturbing connection. Evidence uncovered in Hackman's personal files points to a series of encrypted messages that hint at financial transactions with international criminals. Was Hackman, a celebrated actor, inadvertently caught in a world he could not escape? Did his involvement with these criminal elements put both his life and the lives of those closest to him in grave danger? With each new discovery, the case grows more convoluted. Additionally, the investigators are now re-examining the role of Betsy Arakawa. Initially believed to be an innocent bystander in her husband's tragic end, some experts now suspect that she may have known more about Hackman's dealings than anyone previously realized. Was she in danger too? Or was she caught in the crossfire of a violent game between powerful and dangerous people? As the FBI follows every lead, including interviews with those closest to the couple, they are beginning to uncover connections that could shed light on a much darker reality than anyone had imagined. Adding to the intrigue is the discovery of discrepancies in the couple's financial records. Large sums of money that had been moved in secret accounts, funds untraceable to legitimate businesses, and mysterious payments to offshore companies are slowly surfacing. Could these be the key to unraveling the final chapter of Hackman and Arakawa's tragic tale? Despite these breakthroughs, the investigators face a wall of silence. The mansion, once a place of luxury and tranquility, now stands as a tomb of secrets, its walls holding more answers than anyone knows. As the case takes unexpected twists, one thing becomes clear. The truth behind Hackman and Arakawa's deaths is far more sinister, involving betrayal, danger, and a web of lies spun across decades. The investigation presses on, but the darkness surrounding their final moments continues to grow, leaving investigators and the public to wonder what really happened in those final hours and how many more shocking revelations await. Stay tuned, because the truth will eventually surface. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. What do you think of this shocking discovery? Share your thoughts in the comments below.